What's going on, you guys? It's Keenan Briggs, sports consultant and mentor. Today's conversation is a very fun one. It's about the 7 types of challenges parents face with their athlete children. So, what does this mean? Basically, a lot of times parents will have athlete children and they put their kids into sports and they let the coaches kind of do everything that's needed, right? The issue that I've seen over the past 2 decades is parents will do what they did in their past. If the parent was typically athletic or had some type of knowledge, that parent will be the trainer as well, right? Then sometimes some parents are like, you know what, I don't know what to do, or I just don't want to be my coach's parent or my athlete's parent and coach at the same time. It's just too much and it's hard for the kid to differentiate. So the issues that many parents run into is they put them with coaches and they say, "Here, coaches, you're the coach. You do whatever you feel that's needed for my son or daughter to develop and grow." But behind that, the parent actually has certain requirements, and that parent may want their kid to be developing motor skills, to have fun, gain a social level of just gain a social experience, right? All these things, but these things are really important, and they forget that whenever parents defer to the coaches, it's okay to do. However, you need to make sure you're qualifying and vetting these coaches to make sure that they're going to do exactly what it is that you're looking for when it comes to the outcome, right? So these challenges are what many parents are going to be facing or do face, and here are some solutions and tips to help you with navigating this process. And if you stay till the end, I have a surprise for you guys that I won't get into too much detail, but a surprise for you to help you with this process and make things so much easier and so much smoother during this time of parenting and sports. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is going to be balance. When it comes down to balance, it's pretty much knowing when to encourage your athlete, without overwhelming them. So what does this mean? So many times I see a lot of parents that say, "Hey, if you do well during this game, we're going to go get ice cream. We're going to do all these things." Well, when you look at it from another perspective, the one that I see is it's kind of like your boss, if you have one, saying to you, "Hey, if you finish this job and we get this close or this sell, then I'm going to give you a raise." So you're working hard to get this information in, but it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, right? Now it's almost like if you don't perform at the level you're trying to, then you're not going to get these benefits. Now, I'm not saying in that job aspect or analogy I used, probably not the best one, but it's not like it's you feel a certain way when you fail, right? And now it's like you're really looking forward to this ice cream when you're the athlete, right? And you don't get it. So now it's overwhelming. It's like there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. Now, I'm not saying sports doesn't create pressure and anxiety and all these other emotions. However, it's adding more onto it. Now it's like if I don't get the ice cream, well, then my mom or dad feels a certain way about me, right? So it's really important to find a way to balance these things out. So a quick solution could be, I want you to reach these physical, tangible goals, but also make friends. I want you to hug 4 of your teammates. I want you to high five and encourage them. And if you do that, we're also going to get maybe not the ice cream, but we're going to get cookies or just something that gives them so many more variables to succeed versus just, I need you to score goals, score baskets, and win. Adding these levels of leadership, encouragement, it also helps develop the athlete to understand that there's a lot more than just the sport itself. So the next one is going to be the path. This one is very important. A lot of parents overlook, and a lot of parents choose to just delegate and defer this information. Now, again, I said before that it's okay to do this. However, you got to make sure you vet and qualify the actual people. So many times in youth sports, you'll have parents that are the coaches, and maybe the coach, his or her son or daughter, is a part of the team. And let's say this coach is a perfect coach, like they're motivating, they're inspiring, they know all the fundamentals. And once that their kid ages out and goes to the next age division, well, then that team doesn't have the support they had before. And this happens a lot. So it's kind of like when you are having expectations, like I want my son or daughter to really enjoy this experience. They're 7 years old. I want them to have fun. And that coach is all about winning. They're not about the motor skills. They're not about the base training. They're just, we got to get this winning. Is that what you want from a coach? And if it's not, then it's your job to make sure that you make the adjustments. Many times coaches are just seen because they're known or they're popular or they have great marketing skills. A lot of these issues come in and parents fall into this. I'm going to choose that because of word of mouth or whatever else. It's your job to interview these coaches. It's your job to make sure that this coach needs to have all the philosophy and belief systems that I have as a parent, but also meet the standards that I have for them because I'm giving them this, right? When you have your child with a babysitter, just think about all the layers that you put into it. You're worried about safety. You're worried about, just the atmosphere, who's around your kid, like all these layers that are added into vetting a babysitter. A very similar process should be put into vetting these coaches. Are Is your kid going to be safe? Are they going to gain experiences? Are they going to gain experiences? Are they traveling? Like all these things. This goes for your teams, your club teams, your trainers, speed trainers, all these things. Putting that actual process in. So my biggest thing for you, the parents, is have a list of questions. If you're unsure, you can just go on Chat GPT and figure out like what you can do, what you can ask. And it really comes down to what you want as a parent. So asking yourself what you want, what's the outcome, what's the goal, and start navigating through this process to make sure that the trainers you have, the support system you have is all set up for the end result. All right. So next part is going to be the hopes, right? So it's kind of the same process, right? And the reason why I put the hopes, I don't actually like that phrase because when you're hoping for something, you don't really have the power. When you're driving from home to work or work to home, you're not hoping to get home. You're expecting to. You're already so far past this drive home. You're already planning events after driving home. You're already planning dinner. You're already planning where you're going to go, what you're going to do for the evening. All these things, right? So when it comes down to your child progression, you don't want to have them at a school. You don't want to have them with the club with the hopes that it'll help them improve. You want to have them in a place where this is the exact place my child should be to get them to the next level of where they're going. And you want to have that level of confidence by the previous part by vetting these coaches and make sure that they're qualified for exactly what you're looking for and that they're on pace for exactly where you're supposed to be going. So having this specific plan is very important. So it's living in that expectation and making sure that, yes, this is exactly the person that our son or daughter needs to be with to get them to the next level, right? Okay, so number 4 is the calendar. This happens so often. Kids are overworked. Back in the day, we were in a situation to where there was the sport, and when the sport would end, that was it. Now the sport doesn't end. It's in season, there's off season, there's fall ball, there's all these different things. Or you might be with an athlete that has ability to do multiple sports. Now they're in football, basketball, they're in track, lacrosse, they're just doing all these things. Now, there's so many layers to it, but let's just say they're in a club. The club is year round. Now, when they want to do multiple sports, the problem here is you're now doing that club sport and you're doing the other sport that they want to try, but they're in two sports at the same time. So now you have Monday, Wednesday, sport one, Tuesday, Thursday, sport two. And then because it's off season for the first club sport, you're only practicing. Well, the second club sport has games, which are Saturday and Sunday. Now you're looking at a 7-day activity week for your kid. If you think about it, it's like, well, it's only an hour. They can handle it. It's not that much. Well, ask yourself, do you want to work 7 days a week? These kids are going from school to their sport to homework, sleep. There's no real childhood going on there. You want to make sure that you physically write down the calendar in different colors and also add in the drive time. Also add in the time to prep. This means if they have a 90-minute practice from 6:30 p.m. to 8 Monday, Wednesday, that's fine, right? But you're driving 20 minutes or 30 minutes to this practice. So now it's an hour on top of that. So now it's not just a 90-minute workout. It's what is that? 2.5 hours of that. Plus you're adding in, oh, we got to go home. We got to grab our things we need. We also have to come home and shower from the practice, right? So now it's a 3-hour process. So they go to class from 7 a.m. to 3, they do some homework, then they go to practice and they get home at 9. And now it's like the day's over. Well, where's their childhood? What did they actually accomplish today other than just hang with the friends on their team? If you notice, athletes who've been in sports their whole life, a part of the same club team their whole life, they only have the same 16 or 15 close friends. Now, of course, there's a lot of friends. However, it's the same group versus when you're in multiple sports, you're having kids with different interests, different abilities. It's just so much more. So when it comes to the calendar, you want to look at it, color code it. Every 30 minutes, what's happening with my son or daughter? And you'll start to see you're putting them through a lot. So keeping that balance will help them have a childhood, but also develop and recover and stay healthy and not go through burnout. All right. Okay. So next part's adversity. We all know that sports has its injuries, right? It might be a rolled ankle. It might just be, nowadays concussions. It's just having your athlete be able to manage the mental side of adversity, right? What if your child loses a big important game and because of social media the game they lost was televised or streamed, or they're the one to blame, right? Even at the high school level, like if your team loses, the face of the team might be your son or daughter. Well, how do you deal with these losses? How do you deal with this adversity at the like at the high school level, at the higher end? What if you're dealing with being rejected from your dream school? There are so many pieces that can be a part of it. You must, as a parent, have a level of mental and emotional support. It doesn't mean you as a parent supporting them. It means having a professional person in their corner. Having a mentor is huge. Having a psychologist is also huge to have them navigate and work through these certain tools. I also have a challenge, which is called the Peak Performance Challenge. In this challenge, it gives them perspectives and tools to be able to move through their emotions, through wins, losses, through their goals, so many things. But that'll be spoken about later on, even though I talked about it right now. Anyway, but there's going to be adversity through the sport process. You want to make sure that you have the resources for the athletes to plug into so that they're always moving forward in a positive light, understanding the journey is a part of the process and you want to enjoy it. The next part is coaches, right? Now, we talked about this before, but vetting and qualifying coaches are huge, making sure that they are a positive force towards where you're going. And to be honest, they must be an extension of you, an extension of support. Like it's nowadays, it's very important that the kids have outlets and resources they can plug into aside from you because these kids are going through so much. This generation went through a pause in our world and everything was taken away from them. No matter when it was, it happened during this time frame, and we don't know their perspective and how they really are going through and how they're managing and dealing with things. Plus social media amplifies everything, right? If I score one goal and I'm the athlete of the year, then I look at the next post on social media and I see that someone scored 4 goals and they're the athlete of the nation. It's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm not good enough. Well, if that's how they're perceiving it, then we need to address those things. So having a great coach that can provide these resources that can support you as a parent through this journey is huge. And the last one is going to be happiness, right? We want to make sure that the kids are happy. We want to make sure that the kids have this plan. And so the way that makes kids happy, have a higher level of confidence is simply going to be you. Your plan creates confidence. The athletes, your kids, are going to reflect your level of confidence, awareness, and just level of joy. When you're confident, like this is the coach that you're going to go with, we're going to be with this coach for the next 3 or 4 years. They understand how to make things work. Like that comes off a certain way. But if you're like, I don't know, just go practice, I don't know what to do. When you say that, it indirectly tells the kid that you physically don't know. And if you keep being asked this question, like, what do I do? And you keep saying, I don't know, it also indirectly lets them know that you haven't even tried to improve. Let that sink in. If I don't know the answer right now, but I'll go figure it out, then I come back to you with the solution that may or may not work, but it's something. The kids are like, they now see, let me go figure things out. But if the answer is always, I don't know, then they're going to be in that I don't know mindset. And they're not going to be as confident because now, whenever they're dealing with the adversity, they don't know that they can find the solutions because they're not seeing it from you. So, what I'm getting at with this whole thing is you, the parent, it is your job to lead the way. It is your job to be the face of their success. So when they fail, when they succeed, it's technically your responsibility, just how it is your responsibility of being a parent and whatever that entails, right? When you take this process personally and you say, all right, my kids want to do sports, let me go find the best route for them. And they understand and see this, it makes everything smoother. It makes everything so much more effective. Me as a coach in the past 21 years, I've given this information to the athletes. I've told them, in track and field specifically, here's the plan. This is what I've been doing. We're going to see if it works. I want your input because I need your input to make sure I can keep this process moving forward. But here are the base templates that I've applied over the past 20 years. And they feel comfortable. They feel safe. They feel like, you know what? He knows what he's doing and I trust it. And I'm able to talk to him about what I'm feeling and what's working, what's not working. And he makes the adjustments. It just makes things so much better when you're included. So this conversation that I'm saying to you is going to help you make your process so much easier. I hope you take this and start asking questions. When you ask questions, you're going to find yourself finding the answers from those questions. So, what I've done is I've created a lead the way challenge. It's designed to take what I just said in these 7 processes, right? These 7 steps or 7 areas. And I've broken this down into a 5-day challenge. Challenge meaning it's going to challenge you to find these answers, it's going to challenge you to become a better version of yourself so that can fill the cup of your kids to be the best version of themselves and etc. Information about when it's going to be held, where it's at, all those things is going to be below. Make sure you check that out, at least hear it out, and we'll see you inside, hopefully. And if not, we'll see you on the fields, on the tracks, and on the courts sometime soon. All right, till next time.